guys ready? Good to go? Okay, so this game was played at the club between one player. Players playing black is a kid, what I understand, about 11 or 1200 strength, and players playing white is a bit stronger. So one thing you'll see that happens a lot, that people with higher rating might have like some attitude. It's like, I'm the man, I'll play, I'll destroy. But people forget that you're only better at the game because you play better. So you actually have to prove it on the board. And I think this game is an example of overconfidence on behalf of a player that was playing white. Even though he ended up winning the game, he faced a lot of problems. Like, always remember that, I think also Tartakova said this, not only you have to be a good chess player, you also have to play well. So, again, funny intro. So in this game, they played King's Indian defense, and white decided to transition the game into the exchange variation, which is considered equal for black. Black equalized here, but the move that gives black some trouble here is knight d5. However, white trades on f6 without any good reason. So I would say this move is highly inaccurate. Again, if you were to play this variation, like I showed before, you can use a reference, and despite this opponent's drawish reputation, you see that white scores 54%, which is probably, like I would guess, better than it scores even in some lines of Ruy Lopez. So 95, 1800 games is the main move here, and bishop takes f6 has only been played 88 times with atrocious 28% for white. So don't do that. Why is this move bad? Well, first of all, it trades a bishop for a knight without a good reason, and in most positions, bishops are slightly stronger pieces than knights. And again, it's unnecessary trade. So this game itself had a couple of errors that I noticed. So first of all, the player was playing black. He places this knight on a6, and he kind of forgets about him for the rest of the game. So don't forget about your pieces. Place your pieces on the optimal squares. Knight c5 was necessary, either here or a move later. At the same time, a move like bishop c7 is not really useful yet. You want to keep your position flexible. You don't know if you will end up needing your bishop on b6, a5, or c7. After a3, white's intention is pretty clear. He wants to play b4 and take away the c5 square for the knight. But black kind of ignored that. So one advice I give to everyone, starting from little kids that just learn to play chess, to, I mean, I teach some guys as high as like 1800. Always pay attention to what your opponent is doing. Pay attention to your opponent's moves and threats. That applies on every level, from a beginner to Magnus Carlsen. So you gotta see if what your opponent is playing, if it's good or bad for you. If it's bad for you, you gotta prevent and stop it. Unfortunately, black does not stop it, so that knight ends up being lost on a6. Not lost, but like forgotten. And I made a note here that the knight was misplaced. And then this endgame arises. See, finally black decides to relocate this knight. And it's a relatively calm endgame, which should have most likely ended in a draw. And here white commits a grave mistake. He plays knight to d6. So what's wrong with this move? This move offers black an option to trade bishop for a knight and to go into the knight endgame. Now, one advice that my former coach, Grandmaster Hachian, gave me, he said, most of the time, knight endgames are just like pawn endgames. Visualize a position without knights on the board. If a pawn endgame is winning for you, most of the time it will mean that the knight endgame is also winning for you. If a pawn endgame is lost, that means the knight endgame is most likely lost. What do you guys think?
Yeah.
Good advice. I think that the d6 pawn is going to be gone.
Yes.
It's a gunner, and once it's gone, black is the one playing for a win. So now, White's best shot is to try to hold the game by attacking other pawns. He's likely going to lose the d6 pawn, so he needs to counterattack something else. Instead, he offers black what black wants. He offers a knight trade, which is basically a suicide. So after black correctly trades, black is completely winning. All he got to do is to play a5. And after b4, the white king is not in the square. So this would result in a 1600 player losing to a much weaker player as white. But unfortunately for black, he completely forgot that the main objective of the pawn endgame is to promote a pawn. And he's trying to stop a pawn that does not need to be stopped, because black king was already in the square. If white pawn ever goes to e7, black just plays king e7 and stops it. And again, black never pushed the pawn, played way too passively, and actually made another grave mistake, took on a4 instead of playing a5, which still preserves drawing chances. After he took on a4, white's king is fast enough to take all black's pawns, and white is just winning. All white gotta do is to move a king up, take the a6 pawn, get the king to b6 or b7, take the c6 pawn, and this d pawn is gonna be promoted. So again, I feel like these games, they're not very high quality games, but they have mistakes which are typical of the mistakes that players make. So we can learn something from this game. Don't make pointless trades like taking on f6 earlier. Take care of your pieces. Improve your worst placed piece is another advice that is highly recommended in many positions. So the knight from a6 should have been moved to a better spot. And then finally, be very careful about transitioning to knight endgames. This move, knight d6, move number 26, was completely unnecessary and almost should have lost the game for white.